Welcome to Mary Alice.
What did you do?
We are a Desperate Housewives recap podcast with me, Erin McGee.
And me, Jakub Tansey. Two best friends breaking down each episode until we answer the ultimate question, Mary Alice, what did you do?
Unless, of course, we have finished season 1, in which case, insert new mystery here.
Yes, there's a lot to unpack on Wisteria Lane.
Content warnings can be found in the episode description.
So get comfortable and let's get into this week's episode. Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back. This is episode 21, Sunday in the Park with George.
Weird title. We were just talking about
Especially
that.
because George is really not one of the main focuses of this episode.
And there was an episode with George in a park that didn't use this title.
Yeah.
Anywho.
I'm not saying we could have made the show better, but
I'm saying we could have made it worse. Yeah, this is a great episode. I'm not going to lie. I think I've had a couple. Was it last week? Last week was good. I think the week before was I really feel like we're gearing up to the finale.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's coming! I have taken some notes of my week and I would love to share some of them with you. So how was your week first so I can pretend that I care before I start?
It was fine. I truly have nothing to say, so I'm very, very excited for your little list.
I hope you're hungry for nothing. I went to see Chapel Roan.
Oh, yeah.
On Wednesday.
And Jade.
And they were both amazing. I love Jade. I love Chapel. I had a great time. Good gig. I will say something controversial that you're not going to like. I think at concerts, you ever seen the TV show Hole in the Wall?
No.
Basically, it has a little cutout hole and you have to like fit in the shape.
Oh, no, I know what you mean, yeah.
I think there should be those for concert gigs. And if you can fit through certain parts of it, that's your height allocation.
No.
Yes. Sorry, everyone deserves to see.
Get there earlier.
I did. And you know what happened? A tall man pushed directly in front of me.
Well, that's not okay. That's about etiquette once you're there, but that's not about the
That
location.
happens to me every single time. I get there way early. I'm respectful. Someone shoves directly in front of me every time. So I would like to pose that everyone goes in height order.
Well, maybe if you were more assertive with your position, you would also be more assertive with asking for your money back when you're overcharged, Erin.
The gasp I gasped.
Why don't you tell the people about that?
I think there might be people who listen to this podcast that think out of the two of us, I am the more assertive one. And let me tell you, that is not the case. I am, as I think I've said before, all bark and no bite. We were going to the bagel place that we sometimes go to for lunch. And I was excited because I was going to get my deal, which is my bagel and my coffee for £6. And she said, that will be £8.40. And I said, okay. And I tapped my card, didn't think anything of it. I went, that's how much it is today. That's fine. And then she went, smoked salmon and cream cheese bagel. I went, oh no, it's just the cream cheese. And Jakub goes, so you were overcharged. And I'm like, shh.
You said, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Even when she was like, oh, I overcharged you, I'll give you your money back. And you said, is that okay? I was dead. So maybe if you brought more energy like that to concerts, Erin, you would maintain your position.
She handed me money back and I said, I'm sorry. And she said, it's okay. As if she wasn't the one that made the mistake. Then she gave me my coffee in an open container.
Yeah.
And I said, thank you so much. Have a good day. You know what? It's fine. But yeah, Chapel Roan was great. But another story from that gig that doesn't help me. So I know if I've met someone, I can tell, I can clock that I've met this person before. However, if they're in the wrong venue of context, I have no idea who they are. So I saw this guy in front of me and I went, I know that man. I spoke to the people I was with. I said, do you guys know that man? Is he like a friend of a friend? No, they don't know him. Okay. And I looked at him and I went, oh, you know, he's kind of handsome. He looks a bit like a cross between Adrian Brody and James Blunt. I think that maybe he's an actor because I used to work in theatre. I know a lot of people who are actors. Maybe it's that. And then I went, do you know what? I bet he's famous. And he was wearing this cute lilac headband with butterfly antenna. And I was like, this is his incognito outfit. That's what's going on. Anyway, halfway through the concert, I realized it's the guy who works in our IT department. I tap him on the shoulder. I go, excuse me, sorry, I know your face. And he goes, you do? And I go, yeah, are you Brendan? And he goes, yeah, Erin. Ooh. Ooh. And I was just like, oh, I didn't recognize you with your butterfly antenna on. So I think what happened is I've met this man more than I think I have.
Sounds like it.
Or I've made a hell of a first impression.
Or you just give Erin.
I just give it. But I will say, I also have that type of face. To the people that have seen what I look like on Instagram or our reels or anything like that, you will know I look like generic woman. People always think they've met me before. And I used to always go, it's because I have a generic face. But now I'm starting to think, maybe they have. So, yeah, if anybody ever comes up to me on the street and I don't know who you are, I'm so sorry. It's because apparently I am selfish and I ignore people and I'm a monster. Do you want to hear about my eye pus?
Oh.
No? Okay, we'll go to the next one. The other thing was, you don't understand some A-list celebrities, but some like D-list celebrities you get very starstruck by. And it is baffling to me. And my prime example of this is that you've started watching Lost and the people you're like, oh my God, they were on Lost. You're like, Michelle Rodriguez is on Lost?
She's the girl from Resident Evil.
Whereas I could literally be like, oh, this is, I don't know, I'm trying to think, Meryl Streep. And you'd be like, I think I've seen her in something at some point.
Is Meryl Streep in Lost at some point?
No!
Oh, okay. Well, I'm still watching it. I don't know.
Meryl Streep famous. That's how she got famous, is from Lost.
I'd believe it if you told me confidently.
She plays the island. And other than that, I think that's my week.
Great.
Unless you want to circle back to the iPus, but I think we've let that go.
I think, yeah, it's in the past. However, what
it's
is
in the pus.
I hate it here. What's not in the past is this recap, which we're about to do presently.
Yes. Do you want to take it away?
I'll take it away. This episode opens with Susan's mum, Sophie, reminiscing over her past marriages as she looks at her 4 engagement rings.
And they're cute.
They're very nice. Marielle's voiceover tells us that when she was younger, she was hopelessly romantic and hopelessly naive, which is how she ended up in this position. The first time was with a gambler, the second to an alcoholic.
Pause. The alcoholic, Jakub,
yes,
is in the worst. It's Parker's wig. It's another version of Parker's wig. Please find the screenshot so that I can post it on the Insta.
But there's probably a reason for that, because after the third time, which was a homosexual, the fourth marriage was to the alcoholic again. Yeah, so they clearly just wanted to change up his hair.
I think they just wanted to show a passage of time. But the wig is so horrendous.
I feel like the lawyer at Cardi B's hearing. Yesterday you had brown hair. Today you have blonde hair. What's going on with that?
Doesn't he say something like, is that a lace front? We've been obsessed with Cardi B on the stand. Mainly for me, it is the moment where it's like, I didn't call her fat. I called her a bitch.
Oh, I'm sure everyone's seen it, but if you haven't, go see it.
Go see it. I love how you say go see it like it's a movie. In cinemas now.
Yes, you can pre-book your tickets.
Only in IMAX. It's only worth it if you watch it in IMAX.
Obviously. You need that bigger aspect ratio. So
Scene one.
Scene one. At this point, she's decided she never wants to get married again. Cut to Marty outside Susan's house in the middle of the night, calling out to Sophie. So Susan brings him in before he wakes Sophie up as it's 1 a.m. But she's up already. She saw him from the window and she is now listening from the next room.
It's cute though the way she says he's drunk, Susan. And Marty goes, "How are you, Susie?"
He needed some liquid courage, bless him. So he's telling Susan about how much he wants to marry Sophie, how his, I guess, pancake empire is starting to take off. And Sophie comes in eventually and she accepts his proposal, which kind of shocks Susan a little. But of course, this is on the condition that he gets her a newer and bigger ring. The 3-carat diamond ring he gave his ex-wife and is trying to propose with now is bad vibes. And honestly fair. I don't think I'd want an ex's ring that you got divorced from.
It's not just that she's an ex, she's dead.
Yeah.
It's his dead ex-wife's ring. I'm like, was this taken from her corpse? And I also love the kind of romantic, unromantic gesture of the, "What do you say?" And she goes, "All right." And Susan helps Marty go down on one knee. And by the end of it, I went, you know what? Screw it. They're soulmates.
It's very... Hey, I saw it from the get-go, honestly. I loved it. And then at the end, Mary Alice tells us that although Sophie is still a hopeless romantic, she's no longer naive.
Team Morphe.
Team Morphe. Mighty Morphin side characters.
Then,
I wasn't sure how to extend the note.
That was like, it felt bubbly. I felt like we were singing that from inside an Aero.
I'm just picturing it now. Live from the Aerodome.
Aerosmith.
Is Aero a thing outside the UK? That's a chocolate bar. It's bubbly inside for anyone who's not in the know.
I feel like Aero's universal, surely.
I get so surprised that what isn't, to be honest. So
Yeah, no, yeah. That makes sense.
Anyway, that was our lovely theme. Thank you. You're so good at just picking a genre to go in. Like a very well-known genre, clicking.
That is a hilarious thing to say to someone who last week was like, our genre is zombies. And we've not been doing this that long. We went like pop, jazz, zombie.
And you're welcome.
Mary Alice says that marriage is a contract. And as the examples of that, we see the various women on the lane and their husbands extremely, intensely, badly photoshopped into wedding photos. I will say, Gabby and Carlos's is the most realistic photo of the bunch. It is borderline passable. But what I also like is each of the women's arc starts with a close-up of their hand in some way, showing their marriage ring, like we get with Sophie in the beginning.
I didn't notice that at all, so that's really cool.
So we focus on Gabby's hand throwing plates. And she's furious at Carlos for messing with her birth control, which as viewers, we know he definitely did. However, he is doubling down saying that he didn't. Gabby holds the packet to him and says, look, there's glue marks on it. And Carlos decides, I'm going to have some dignity about this and admit defeat. Nope, I'm going to blame my dead mother for messing with the birth control.
Yep, pins it on dead mama.
Gabby says that she is suffering with some morning sickness. She buys his alibi and says she is off to vomit on Mama Solisa's grave.
Oh, it was pretty funny, not gonna lie.
It was kind of funny. I hated though when she left and Carlos was just smiling to himself like he got away with it. Ugh.
Yuck. I do not foresee a high score for him this week in the husband ranking.
You're psychic.
Mm-hmm. That's right, baby. So Gabby goes to see John the child gardener to deliver some potentially upsetting news, she calls it. And John reacts very angrily, immediately stressing out about finances and child support, etc. when Gabby tells him she's pregnant. Gabby wants to protect him from Carlos, etc. Like convincing him to keep quiet about their affair, basically.
Yeah, John's going, I can handle it. No, you can't.
Honey, no.
I know that you're now John the adult gardener.
Put your pocket money away.
Put away your doubloons that you won at Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know. And it is kind of funny watching her tell him while she's like sat on the lawnmower. But yeah, that was what was going on in my head, is that she kind of just wanted to protect herself more than anything. I don't think she cares about him. I think there are moments where she does.
I don't think it's ever been shown that she actually cares about him, ever.
I think they flirted with the idea as writers. I think about the rose thing a lot, and how her talking about the best gift she ever got. And there are some times where she sounds like the problem isn't John's age, it's that he can't provide.
I personally don't think it was ever about John. It was about just it not being Carlos. And John was there.
I think it was about being wanted and feeling wanted. So I think she kind of cares for him in a kind of friendship way. But
yeah. Anyway, luckily it's a short arc for Gabby. So do you want to take away the final Gabby scene?
Once again, Carlos is in the bath.
Yeah. What's going on here? A bit of role reversal. Has Gabby given up baths for Lent?
Can we, you know what? We've been talking about doing some sort of recap at the end of all the things we've been counting. I might count the baths. If I'm doing this anyway, I might count every time someone's in the bath.
Valid.
Gabby is making a meal for herself, adding a lot of hot sauce. Carlos comments that he's not getting any attention from her and she's focusing more on food. What do you think is going to happen when you bring a child into the equation, big boy?
Yeah, I just wrote all caps, vile man. Gabby, like she's not paying enough attention to him. Now she's pregnant. Girl, she's got other things to worry about.
You're going to jail. She just threw you a lovely barbecue.
Yeah.
And Gabby says that she's eating a lot because I plan on getting really fat as a tribute to your mother.
I don't actually remember if I noted a quote of the week or not. We'll see as I go through the notes. But if I didn't, know that is my quote of the week.
I've got a different one, but that was delicious. So John comes to the door to talk to Gabby, and he's been doing some serious thinking about the baby, and he wants to do the right thing. What's the right thing to John, the adult gardener? Confronting Carlos, man to man, aka man to teenager. Gabby's like, oh, I'll just go in and get him. Not to worry, John. And she tells Carlos to get back in the bath because she wants to have some time in there with him. He is clearly, because of what he said earlier, buzzing about this. And she tells him to sit like a little puppy dog. She goes, sit, you stay there. She turns on what my subtitles said was loud salsa music. And it's just in time because John is beating on the front door, but Carlos is vibing in the bath.
He's having a little dance to himself.
And in order to stop John from beating on the door, Gabby spikes his eyes with spicy salsa.
Yeah, it's kind of intense.
It's bizarre. She tells him what I think is the most honest thing she said to him so far through this arc, which is, you are never going to be the father of this baby. No matter what happens, whether it's yours or it's not. Carlos can financially provide for the kid. Carlos is going to give this kid a good life. And I do think she brings it a little bit back to her origins by saying this kid isn't going to grow up poor like I did and didn't have to struggle like I did. John says it's not about the money. And Carlos comes out and sees John there. He mentions that he wants to sack Justin, to which I say, because Justin is gay, another hate crime, Carlos, perhaps?
He's got a wrongful termination coming his way. Wrongful termination suit.
Exactly. But no, I'm kidding. He says that he wants John back because John is practically family.
Yikes. I think with what Gabby says to him about it's what the baby deserves to be raised by someone who can, pay for all the nice things. Given that she brought it home to like not wanting the baby to grow up poor like she did, I think her mindset and how she got to that point is valid. But objectively, I don't like the sentiment that it's giving that you can't have a good upbringing without a boatload of money.
It is definitely giving that sentiment because don't forget, she's saying Carlos is going to give the kid a good life. Carlos is going to jail right now. He's a felon.
And she's spoken when she first got pregnant, when she talked to the priest about how her and Carlos are both so self-centered, she thinks they'll both be shit parents.
Yes. I don't know. A lot of this doesn't make sense to me, but what I do think this episode introduces is the idea that even though she doesn't want kids, and she's expressed that she doesn't want kids, Gabby does care about this baby.
And that's Gabby.
And that's the gift of the Gab.
Yeah. Short and sweet.
Short.
But less on the sweet, more on the short.
Short and pregnant. Right. I'm worried about her. I think that she is so entangled in this season in the idea of love and what it is to be loved and how to love. And I don't like this sentiment that you have to have children in order to fully understand what love is.
Yeah.
Because I understand what love is whenever I look at you.
Let's move on to Tanette.
You can say it back.
Yeah. And maybe I would love you if you weren't trying to force me to stand at the back of every concert.
Babe, you're the worst culprit for it. Look, shorties for justice at concerts.
Mm-hmm.
I even
We're
think...
never going to another concert together.
Never.
Tom is heading to work in the morning. He's going to be home late because he's got work drinks with people. But Lynette is horny. She is worried because it's been 10 days since the last time they had sex, breaking their previous record of 9. So Tom says, no worries, we can do it tonight. She's got nothing to be worried about, which hard disagree after last week's Annabelle plotline.
I will give him this, that he is somewhat at least trying to, in this situation, reassure her a little bit.
Yeah, well, the reassuring will come at night. And we'll see if that happens. So Tom runs upstairs to get a briefcase while Lynette answers the door to Annabelle, who's come to pick him up. And as Annabelle uses her phone, Lynette is clearly just sort of comparing the two of them. Like she's looking down at herself in her kind of like grubby, just like pajama-y clothes. I mean, it's first thing in the morning and Lynette's not going anywhere. Why would she be all dressed up?
Yes.
Annabelle is all, like done up for work and she's got her suit and her nice hair and makeup and everything.
I clocked Lynette as the envy sin really early on.
You did.
And it works so well in this arc.
And
I think also it's not about Tom necessarily. It's also Annabelle is the embodiment of the life she could have had.
Yeah. And I remembered watching the scene exactly where this plot line goes and immediately started cringing in advance. And then I remembered where it goes after that and I got a little excited. And you know what I'm talking about. And we'll get there.
We will get there. The next scene, Tom sends the kids to bed because she and Tom have a special meeting tonight, is what she tells the children. And Tom comes home. Him and Lynette start macking on the couch.
Been a minute.
And he points out that Lynette smells a little bit. He says he likes it when Lynette is in her clean and sexy clothes. And Lynette, quite rightly, says, I am a mother of 4. There are no clean and sexy clothes in this house. Also, something else, not the case in the pilot where she has full-on vomit on her and he's trying to sleep with her anyway. Anyway, Tom says guys sometimes like it when women, put a little effort into things. absolute monster.
This man has the worst communication skills because, again, and this is really becoming a theme with Tom, I'm like objectively close to taking his side, but then he puts his foot in it every time, and the way he communicates when there's an issue just completely turns me against him.
And you're the one that should be making the effort here if you haven't slept with your wife. But I mean, I don't want to bring it down to how many days or how often people should sleep together, but it's not their usual norm. So that's how I'm looking at it. And if you're thinking, she's not able to, I'd be thinking, oh, she's not getting to do those things. She's not getting to have the clean clothes and the sexy clothes and all that. If that's what she wants, how can I, as a partner, give her the opportunity to be able to do that? Because it's the classic thing, like foreplay for women isn't just come here and kiss me. It's like, how have we built our day together? How have we communicated today? Have we been a little bit flirty? Have we done, like, there's so many components that come into it. And I think Lynette would be more up for it if he was, you take a bath, I'll do this. And like those things make her love her partner and will put her more in the mood.
Mm-hmm. And I tried putting myself in Tom's position here in my mind.
Yeah.
To think about this scene. And so for me, obviously taking the gender difference out of it and the children, which I acknowledge is a big difference.
Yeah.
But like, obviously, I wouldn't expect my hypothetical partner to be ready for sex at the drop of a hat, trimmed, clean, wearing nice underwear or whatever all the time.
Yeah.
I think it's not unreasonable to expect your partner to put effort into their appearance, at least shower, etc. when it's, been this 10-day build-up. It's not spontaneous. It's been planned for the whole day. But what you would never do is in the middle of foreplay, say anything to make your partner feel like anything but the sexiest person alive. That's a conversation for later, Tom, which can absolutely be worded in a far more respectful way. Does that make sense? Am I sounding like an asshole by saying that?
You don't sound like an asshole. I will say, though, that Lynette, as a mother of four, probably had every intention of showering. She doesn't want to feel dirty. She doesn't want to have spit up on her. She probably pulled on the cleanest thing that she could because she's already done 5 batches of laundry that day. She probably was dressed and ready to go. And she was like, okay, if I just get the kids to bed at this time, then maybe I can do this. But it implies that, with Tom saying that, it implies that this was an effort. And I actually think a lot of the time that is her best effort. That's the best she could do. And even if it wasn't the best she could do, screw you, Tom. You should be so lucky.
Yeah. So in the next scene, Lynette is determined to get the spark back into their sex life. So she very randomly and spontaneously buys...
Don't you dare come for this outfit.
Buys a sexy French-made latexy lingerie type thing. She looked great in it. But in any case, she's waiting for Tom to come home. But it's getting late. He still isn't home from work, so we get a short montage of her sort of having some wine and killing time. She does a little bit of sexy dusting around the house. It's quite cute. But she does eventually fall asleep on the couch, face down, ass up. Until eventually Tom comes home with a co-worker that he was going to let sleep on the sofa, who sees Lynette passed out there on the sofa in the outfit and says... Yeah, sofa should be fine.
She goes into a shop called Nighttime Necessities. She seeks out going into a fancy lingerie shop, and she puts the makeup on, and she does the sexy outfit, and she's put out wine, and she has gone to so much effort. And once again, stop trying to gaslight me, like writers, into thinking that Felicity Huffman isn't absolutely breathtaking. She's so fit. I will say, Tom coming in with the friend, it is kind of a cute misunderstanding. I'm not going to lay into Tom for that. Anyway, next scene where I lay into Tom. Okay, our next scene, Tom is teasing Lynette the next morning in the kitchen. And at first it's kind of playful, until eventually Tom says, "What were you thinking?" And she brings up kind of last week and this week, you know, you are hanging out with your ex all the time who is prim and proper and always is able to make an effort with her appearance. And she stresses that I used to be that person. I don't have the time for that anymore. I can't do that anymore. And I'm worried that I'm not enough for you. And instead of Tom saying, of course you're enough for me. You're the woman that I married and I love you and I find you attractive. He says, what does Annabelle have to do with anything? And Lynette says something really profound, I think, which is Annabelle is the fantasy and I'm the reality. And I think that's how a lot of people feel in long-term relationships, especially of, you know, if people are feeling insecure about somebody else taking that person away, it's always because that person is put on a pedestal because they're a fantasy. And that person at home tends to be the person that's, you know, having to deal with the bills and the messy stuff.
And that's where that French maid outfit came from, because that's a fantasy.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
she's gone, I can be the fantasy too. And actually, she can't. Like, Lynette can't be the fantasy anymore. She is the reality, but that doesn't mean the reality is not beautiful, and it doesn't mean the reality is not sexy. It just means that, there's not mystery in there, but there's something deeper. However, Lynette is really vulnerable here, and Felicity Huffman rips my heart out. She really does. It's so sad. I believe her so much in this moment. And Tom says that tell me what to do to fix this, instead of coming up with how to fix it himself.
Right? It's like, that's the most useless thing you can say. Take some proactive action for once, Tom.
I think it's also important that every time we see Tom, the last few episodes in particular, he's either coming home really late, or anytime she tries to speak with him, it's first thing in the morning and he has to leave. So she has no opportunity to really have this conversation. However, take it away, Jakub.
Well, before we move on.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're okay. I mean,
don't take it away.
Well, you know, when Tom asks what, you know, he can do, Lynette basically says there's nothing to fix. They've just changed. This is the reality. Like you say, like, she can't be the fantasy. That's the reality. It's not something that's broken. It's just what it is. And she's worried it's not enough, I guess.
I think there's also, how to say this? I'm happy to be wrong about this, and I never say that. I'm usually never happy to be wrong about anything, but I can appreciate that I have not been in a decades-long marriage.
Yeah.
I think a lot of time on television, people do fall into that default of, oh, our marriage is stale, so I'm going to become someone else. And actually, that person is in love with you because of who you were in the first place.
Yeah.
And you don't have to bring in like an alter ego. You don't have to, I mean, don't get me wrong, make the effort, make things special. But yeah, I think the idea of trying to return to the beginning of the relationship, and that's regressing, that's going backwards.
Sure.
Of. Like, you're never going to have that...
honeymoon period again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be honest, you probably don't want it. If you had that honeymoon period again, you'd probably hate it.
That's fair. The tone also, like, dramatically shifts in this scene when Lynette, like, Tom's teasing her and Lynette is so casually just like, well, I was thinking our marriage is in trouble and one of us ought to do something to try and save it. And it's just like...
Yeah.
It's very uncomfortable.
And I think their marriage this entire season has been up and down.
Yeah.
There was that time where she said, are we happy?
Yeah, and in this episode, it's mostly been down. But, you know, credit where credit's due. In the next scene, Lynette does take some form of action, which I will now describe to you all in the best detail I can.
Lynette does?
Tom does.
We're just so used to Lynette being the one working hard and putting the effort in. You can't even say it.
So Tom comes home from work. Lynette is just sitting on the couch reading a magazine. Tom checks the kids are in bed.
Yep.
Sets the egg timer for, 2 or 3 minutes, and then goes upstairs telling Lynette, wait till this is finished, then come to the bedroom.
Which I think is hot.
So do I. It's fun. It's exciting.
And it's her not being in control, and she has having to be in control of everything all the time. Like, I just think it's a nice change that he's taking the initiative and he's being assertive.
Yes, it's just Tom just doing something rather than asking about something.
Yes.
Which is so rare, it feels.
This isn't, how can I fix it? This is, here's how I'm going to fix it.
Yeah.
And it's 100 times more attractive.
Yes. It's so common to say confidence is sexy. Mm-hmm. Like, even when, like, it's nothing worse than you're going on dates with someone and every time you're like, where do you want to eat? Or da-da-da. And they're like, I don't mind, whatever. And they think they're being, what's the word I'm looking, accommodating. But it's like, oh my God, no, have an opinion. Like, do something, make a decision. It's nice when someone else picks or does something like that. Anyway,
yes.
Getting too sidetracked.
I don't think we are. I think you're right, though, because it's such an important part of their dynamic is that she feels like she's just pouring all this effort in and the ship is going down. There's holes in it. And Tom's not pouring, like, trying to plug any of the holes.
Yeah.
Metaphors.
Yeah. So Lynette eventually waits for the timer to go down. She's like, oh, okay, well, let's go into the bedroom.
I like that she goes along with it. I like that she's not defensive and
yes.
she doesn't go, this is dumb, because she has been so vulnerable. Mm-hmm. And I think there are times and scenarios I can see where Lynette would reject this.
Yeah. But luckily, I guess Tom caught her in a good moment. She was sitting reading a magazine. She wasn't like struggling with the kids or in the middle of like some crazy task. No, the timing matters. And in this case, the timer has finished. So Lynette goes inside and Tom is there and he is in a leopard print pair of Speedos, briefs, man thong type situation. And he's doing this voice. And I'm like, is he meant to be some specific character or is he just doing a voice?
I think he's doing like a George of the Jungle type of thing.
I didn't know what the reference was, but I could appreciate it nonetheless.
I think it was just like caveman, like kind of like woman.
I mean, we were saying earlier that it's like off record, that it's hard to find Tom as a character attractive, but objectively,
yes,
that man, he's a good looking man. He's a good looking fella.
Tom Scavo? Tom Speedo?
Hell yeah. Episode title. Lynette is buzzing. She's living for this, yes. And they are absolutely not turning those lights off. And that's Tom and Lynette. I hope they enjoy the rest of their night while we move on to Bree.
Well, you were very excited by Tom in that Speedo. I was very excited by Bree in the next scene.
I was like, what man is in the next scene other than George? And I was so worried you were about to talk about George being attractive. So I'm so glad that's not where it went.
No. We get a zoom in on the rings once again with Bree. And Bree is looking so fit.
She's definitely done up her hair. It's not her usual style.
It's like a little side part and it's not too structured. And even like her makeup is softer and sexier and she's wearing pearl necklace and this pink kind of Edie vibe. Like I think Edie wore this kind of cut in orange in another episode.
Didn't Bree also wear a pink dress when she went on an actual date with George when she was separated?
She did. It's like her date outfit, her date color. So she is... God, she's just a vixen in this scene. She talks to George about how much fun she and Rex had the first few years before the kids were born and how they went on this magical holiday to Italy together. And she remembers that kind of youth and early relationship. It's a real theme of the episode. It's these people trying to return to something that is a closed chapter in their lives. George is like, why don't you and I go to Italy together? Because that's a completely normal thing to say.
I literally laughed just purely out of like secondhand discomfort from him asking that.
And Bree, I think Bree's a little bit out of order. I do think Bree's out of order here. I do, in this arc. She goes to feed George, which I think, regardless of their current friendship, if you know someone had feelings for you in the past, I think this is messy. Yeah. As she does so, she sees Edie and she waves at Edie because she thinks she isn't doing anything wrong. And then she watches Edie's face change and she starts to look uncomfortable.
She removes herself from the situation and takes a look at it from like a third person perspective and is like, oh.
She's like, Edie's smirking at me. Something's dodge. Oh.
And as Edie's looking at her like that, George says that the food is so good, it's gotta be sinful.
Again, the 7 deadly sins, the Garden of Eden, original sin, blah, 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 blah.
Edie is thriving in this discomfort also. She's so living for it.
I love as well that she's wearing pearls too, and she's at the restaurant, and we don't need to see who she's with because it doesn't matter.
Because they wouldn't be there next week anyway.
And I love her for that.
Yes. So we then see Bree and Rex heading out somewhere, and Rex is frustrated about his cardiologist not figuring out what's wrong with him yet. But he doesn't want a new one because of wait times. Real. Edie is walking down the street, so Bree excuses herself to go talk to her. And Edie says, naughty, naughty. It really cracked me up.
I don't know if it's this episode, but all of the women are so hot in this episode.
They really are.
Like Lynette in the French maid outfit, Bree in her previous scene. There's something about Edie in this power suit saying naughty, naughty.
That's the fantasy.
That is the fantasy.
So Bree clarifies that she is just friends with George, but Edie isn't buying it.
Love it.
Edie kind of assumes that Bree's essentially getting payback over the whole Maisie Gibbons situation.
Yes.
But Edie is shocked that of all the people Bree could have had an affair with, she chose a pharmacist. And she says, you're such a Republican.
What does that even mean?
I don't know, but it felt funny. There's the delivery.
The delivery was hilarious. It was one of those where I was like, that's funny. Don't know why. I think she just sold the joke.
Instinct to laugh though.
Yes.
So Edie accuses Bree of having an emotional affair,
Yes.
if not a physical one. And she's right. That's what she's doing. She's going to George to talk about her like deeper feelings and stuff that she's not doing with Rex. That is, an emotional affair.
Weirdly, she doesn't realize that she's doing this, but I think she's almost having a strictly sexual relationship with Rex at this point and having the emotional aspect with George, which is extra wild considering that we're hearing that she is kind of getting into S&M with Rex that she doesn't really want to do. So her relationship with Rex is so doomed. It's so doomed. But I love that Edie validly points this out to her. And I sometimes think that Edie's such a great character for being that bird's eye perspective of, I'm not your friend, so I'm not going to lie to you, implicate you. This is how it looks.
But she's also like, I'm also not your enemy. So, do you. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to, tell anyone. I'm just here observing.
She's also like, he's kind of cute, I guess.
For a Republican.
And she's wearing, she turns away, and I just really like her sparkly pink hair clip.
Ooh.
Cute.
I didn't clock it, but I believe it.
It's really cute. Next. So Bree is knitting some gender neutral green abomination. I don't think it's bad. I just wasn't paying attention to what it was. She says that Rex has been mopey all day. And he says it's because he's worried about his test results for his heart coming back. Bree brings up that her and Rex don't talk enough. And he's doing the crossword at this time. And he seems so distant and so uninterested. And Bree is really trying to connect with him here. And I think it's partly to prove Edie wrong, to prove that idea wrong, that she has a better emotional connection than she does with Rex.
I think also to prove herself right and validate her own feelings as well, rather than Edie almost.
Abso-freaking-lutely. And Rex just doesn't look up. He doesn't look up. He doesn't give her what she needs. And she mentions this trip to Italy that she's put on the pedestal. And he says he barely remembers it. And the memories he does have are negative. And something that someone once said to me about being in a long-term relationship is that you kind of build like a chest of these beautiful sacred memories, and then when things get really hard, you kind of open that chest up and like take something out and so that you can kind of go, you know what, we've got this chest is so full of things, this one bad day really isn't significant. And I feel like that was such a memory in this like sacred chest for her that he's essentially just thrown away.
Oh, that's tough. I mean, in this moment, Bree really looks like she's rethinking all of her life choices.
I think she's realized in this moment that she isn't in love with Rex anymore. She loves him, but I think she's realized she's not in love with him anymore.
Tough. It's really tough.
And I don't think she's been in love with him since Maisie Gibbons.
That's a hard one. I mean, like you say, neither of us have been in decades-long relationships. So
apart from with our emotional relationship with each other.
Of course. But outside of that, it's really hard to kind of have any real understanding of what that's like. And, you know, when you've invested that much time in someone, of course you're going to do everything you can externally and internally in your own mind to make things work. So it's tough.
Yeah, and there's no right answer. I mean, in some ways it's like you've put so much work in, and in other ways it's sunk cost fallacy. If you're not happy now, just because you've put so much time into it doesn't necessarily mean that you should stay in it.
Also, just for context, the gender neutral thing she's knitting is for Gabby's baby.
Is it?
Yeah, she says like, so that if it's a boy or a girl, that's why it's green.
I didn't think she'd announced to the girls that she was pregnant yet.
Did I make that up? No, she ran out in the middle of the barbecue and screamed, "I'm pregnant."
She sure did. She sure did. She said, "I'm pregnant," and she slapped him across the face. Yes.
Anyway.
Do you know what? I was trying to picture like this tear-stricken scene where she revealed to all that she's pregnant, and that simply did not happen. This was only last weekend.
Okay, and that's Bree.
And that's Bree.
Now we're going to cover Susan and Paul and Zach and Felicia and Mike and Noah Bossman and Kendra.
And kind of Sophie.
And kind of Sophie.
And kind of Marty.
Yeah, it's a longie. I mean, I think the other arcs are relatively short because this is a densely packed arc.
This is action-packed. Whereas I feel like the last few episodes, all of Susan's storyline, I could have just done without, or it's been really repetitive.
Basically all of the Sophie stuff, which is exactly why I love this first scene.
Yes.
Where Sophie is finally moving out. And she's doing so in an absolutely horrific stripy blazer that looks like it's made from a shower curtain.
I didn't mind the blazer.
This is why it would never work with me and you, Erin.
Sure, that's why.
Yeah.
So Sophia's glowing, I would say. And as in emotionally glowing, don't worry.
Yeah.
And Marty is struggling with all of the bags. Julie wants Sophie to stay, which I think is significant because it's probably because Susan cooks when Sophie is around.
She acts like an actual mother.
Yes. Marty encourages Susan to fight for Mike. And Susan's saying, well, did my mum tell you that he's a drug dealer? And Marty's going, no. She goes, did she tell you that he killed someone? I do not recall. And Sophie comes out and admits that she went over and told Mike that Susan still loves him. And she says to Susan, you don't know the full story. And I agree with Sophie. You know why? Because she didn't open the freaking letter.
We are absolutely going to come back to that.
They hug, Susan and Sophie.
Yeah.
And Susan is looking longingly over at Mike collecting his mail.
Yeah.
Without Bongo. There's no Bongo to be seen. People have been knocking on his doors. Bongo has been killed.
Mike doesn't know it, but it's happened.
Mike is doing a full investigation, meaning he's done nothing.
So we see next Detective Hitman in a car with suspicious Paul Young at night. And yes, they are being suspicious. Hitman fills Paul in on Susan hiring him. Basically, he has the biggest ad in the phone book.
I love that he said that. He basically was like, this is marketing. And I also love that I went to type in my notes, Inspector Detective Hitman is a grass.
I said that too.
And I saw that that's what you titled this scene, and I burst out laughing.
Now, he's got the biggest ad in the phone book, and it just made me think, man, what a nice time to be alive. Imagine not having to worry about search engine optimization. You just place one big ad for our podcast, and then we don't have to worry about it.
Yes, because people are going to be like, let me call up the Desperate Housewives recap podcast.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. I'm not dynamically competing with other stuff constantly.
But also, he's loyal to Paul for some reason, which I find interesting.
Yeah, because it was a paid job. They don't have a personal connection. So if I were the hitman detective, I'd be like, oh, easy money. I'll just tell Susan everything I know. Maybe it's like client a confidentiality conflict, but also he's a hitman. So where is his moral compass at? And if he's taking money from Susan, he should be just as loyal to her. I don't know. This guy's messy.
This is all very messy. And I think as well, my headcanon for all of this is that Mr. Detective Hitman, number one, loves the tea. Because I think you kind of have to.
Do you think he's friends with Gabby's priest and they just bitch about the girls, everyone on the lane?
Well, maybe this works.
Over a drink.
Because my other headcanon is that he's in love with Paul.
That is throwing me for a loop. Please elaborate.
I think he has a crush on Paul Young. And that's why he's like, I'm just gonna tell him that like he's gonna like me so much when I tell him that Susan has asked about him, and I'm gonna like maybe murder some people for him, and he's kind of cute.
He does then go on to advise Paul to sort of run away. So maybe he's like, let's run away together, Paul.
I think that's what it is. I think he's like, do you know what? For $5,000. We could get married.
In today's money.
I think he's squirreling all that money away.
That's so funny.
So they can run off.
So yeah, he advises Paul to run/move away and doesn't really understand why Zach has any sway in that decision.
Well, he's not ready to be, Mr. Detective Hitman is in love with Paul, but he's not ready to
be a father.
Yeah. And I think that's okay.
Yeah. So he asks Paul what he wants Susan to know, and basically will throw her off the scent for a while. So then we're going to cut to that happening.
And he lets this happen because he's in love with him. It's the only thing that makes sense. So Susan is in her house with Mr. Detective Hitman. He's reinforcing everything Paul has ever said. Dana died at 18 months from a fall. Mary Alice changed her name from Angela because of a fight with her aunt. And Susan is visibly confused that she was wrong, even though we know she was not. Mr. Detective Hitman still wants his check. The cheek. Susan then peers across the way and wants to check in on Mike's background, which makes me gaga. He has on multiple occasions offered this information up for free.
Look, I agree with you, but I also see Susan's perspective because the reason she didn't read the letter and hasn't heard Mike out is because she basically doesn't trust him to tell the truth. So hearing it from what in her mind is an objective source is different. I'm not saying I agree. I'm saying I can see that's what Susan's thinking is. You look like you're about to catch fire.
No, I think you have a valid point.
Okay, good. So Susan then fills Julie in on having hired Detective Hitman to look into Mike.
What? The teenager looking at the file, which maybe has an autopsy in it, or like a blood, or...
To be honest, at this point, I'm so accustomed to bad mom behavior that I'm just like, yep, this is where it's going. Of course it is. That whole bad mom plot line to me is in the past now. This is the norm. I've accepted it. I'm going with it.
Where do you think Julie the Vampire Slayer has been the last few weeks?
I was thinking we've not brought it up in a while. It's been on hiatus.
It's been a minute because the new big bad has been Paul Young, and we said that we thought that Julie was perhaps training. I actually think that's why Julie the Vampire Slayer got so close to Zach in the first place. as a means to get close to Paul and keep an eye on him.
Yeah. But when she realized it was going nowhere, she was like, well, I'm done with Zach now. I've got all the intel I need.
Yeah.
So, obviously, the detective hitman has looked into Mike off camera because the file's there, they've got it. And Susan wants Julie to read it for her and put a good spin on anything if it's bad. So, there's some good news and there's some bad news. The bad news, Mike killed a cop. The good news, there was no good news.
I would say the good news is, I don't know what's wrong with me this episode, but Mike looks fit as a felon.
Well, okay, gonna get to that picture in a second. But Susan basically told Julie to put a good spin on it, and that is the best she could do to fake good news. But yeah, there is this photo of Mike being taken away in an orange jumpsuit, and he does look fine. But also, Susan spots in the background Noah Bossman and Mike's hot female friend, who at the time of making these notes, I could not remember the name of.
Kendra.
I realized that about halfway through the episode, and I realized as well the reason I couldn't remember is because I'm also listening right now to a Buffy recap podcast, and they're on season 7, so there's the character of Kennedy, and I was getting mixed up.
Isn't there also Kendra and Buffy? Isn't that the original?
Yes, but that's season 2. I'm on season 7.
I was like, that's like the Slayer that dies. Spoilers.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what I found hilarious about this photo is that Noah and Kendra in the background looks like they're posing for a Netflix crime drama cover art.
It's the picture of the cast of Parks and Rec that has been taken where they go, this looks like Philly Justice.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
They look like they're on Philly Justice.
Yep. At Noah's estate, Mike is talking with him, and I just wrote the sister of Deirdre, but as I am clued in now, Kendra.
The woman.
The women. She wants them to basically let it go. Deirdre is dead. Nothing's going to change that. Let's stop fixating on it. Let's heal. Let's move on. And they're basically like, no.
I think this is an interesting parallel between Kendra and Felicia. They both have these complicated relationships with their sisters who have passed. And whilst they are somewhat loyal to them, there is also this kind of dislike for them. This kind of anger that has remained after their deaths. And then Mike's trying to like puff up his chest and be a bad boy again. He's like, then leave. Like, it's so bizarre. I swear he puts on that leather jacket and he's like, this is Michael, my alter ego. This is Michael Delph.
Not Delph.
Next scene. Felicia phones Mary Alice Young and Paul Young and Zach Young's landline. Remember that?
No. Yes, we could still have a landline at home.
And she says, she leaves a message for Zach, which I think is quite bold, saying that she wants more of his little visits. Paul picks up the phone and tries to make her back off. And Paul goes into Zach's room with hot chocolates. And it's very clear that he is once again drugging Zach. Zach says he hasn't been feeling well for a couple of days. And Paul tries to blame the juju aura bad vibes of the house, to which I kind of agree with him to an extent on, because from the pilot, everyone else has been on their own show and Paul and Zach have been in a horror movie.
He also confirms that Zach blew up Susan's kitchen, which to me was confirmed in the last episode when Zach had the lighter, but you still had question of it. So here it is confirmed.
Yes. You know, sometimes I never know with this show if it's a misdirect. And I forgot who did it. So this was interesting. Also, Paul is way too chill about the fact that he set Susan's house on fire. Like, he's just like, that Susan thing.
He probably secretly is like, ha, she deserves that because Susan's annoying.
It's like, she had it coming.
I can't condone this, but I won't get too mad. Also, Paul is like, this whole scene is intercut with Paul packing a bag as well.
Yes.
So like I think he's drugging up Zach with the intention of just kind of moving him and their family and his sort of barely conscious body away at some point.
It's really bizarre. I don't know how to feel about this arc in general. I am a Lynette apologist, obviously, but I am also quite a Paul Young apologist. Here's where I'm like, it's a bit much.
It is. I mean, as soon as you start drugging your child, you're crossing a line.
It's a bit much.
But the next day, Felicia sees Paul drive off, and so she sneaks into his house to look for Zach and finds him all drugged up. So she searches through the house and finds the meds that Paul's been using. And we do know that she was a nurse, so we do know that she would know what the meds are.
Which I love.
And whatnot, and that she knows what to do in this situation, which in this case is to immediately slap Zach so hard.
I love that Zach doesn't know he's being drugged. So from his perspective, Felicia has broken into their home, slapped him across the face, and dragging his half-conscious body to her house.
Yeah. But she does leave a note for Paul to say where he is in the most gorgeous calligraphy. I want it available as a font for my Instagram stories.
Jakub, you and I have become one, because I was like, the most beautiful handwriting and the responsible nature of the note so that
Frame
Paul wouldn't worry.
Get it framed, baby.
Felicia is so classy sometimes. She's like, "Dear Paul, I've kidnapped your son. Don't worry, best wishes, Felicia."
Well, again, we've told you, or we've agreed that this is dark Bree.
This is dark Bree.
And that is exactly a Bree move, so it tracks.
It's also interesting that Bree was the one that was kind of the surrogate for Mary Alice for Zach early on. And now he's getting dark Bree as his surrogate mother, I would say.
Yes. This next scene is very exciting.
This is my favorite scene from the episode.
It's great.
So, first of all, stylistic choice. Felicia's bob looks so much more real and less sharp as we get more human side of Felicia. She starts as like a caricature. It's very Lego. It's very pointy. And it's starting to get more and more disheveled, human, normal looking. It's less uncanny valley. Love that. Felicia is like, "Hey, Paul, Zach's upstairs just sleeping off those tranquilizers you gave him."
She's so casual about everything, but she's like, no, the tone will be serious, despite my tone.
It just continues to escalate in such this deliciously quiet way. You know, remember how last week I said that Paul shouts in lowercase? They both shout in lowercase in this scene. She says to Paul, "I am not my sister. You do not want to screw with me." And she hands over scans of Martha's journals with highlighted passages like the icon that she is. Now, let's remember, this is 2004. People didn't have scanners in their home. Homegirl went to the local library and scanned these in. And everything about this scene is perfect to me and pays off so well. I love Felicia so much because I've been wondering, what has she been doing the last few weeks? Because why hasn't she confronted Paul yet? And we're seeing what she was doing. She was being sensible, she was biding her time, and she was waiting for contingencies.
Do you know what she said? She said, receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, fucking everything to prove that you are a fucking murderer. And okay, I'm giving up on that. If you haven't seen the Salt Lake City season 4 finale, that's on you. Please continue, Erin.
Can we please Photoshop Felicia with a speech bubble that says, receipts?
Oh, I'm on it, babe.
Please
I'm on
do.
it.
You're so right. And she's going to the beach in this scenario. It's all the women.
I'm going to make a whole comic strip out of this.
Please
I can't wait.
do. So she's been planning this for weeks. And Felicia says that she hid the originals in a safe space. She then says, my quote of the week.
Oh, I've written quote of the week ? So yeah.
Oh, she hid the originals in a safe space and says, it seemed like a reasonable precaution since you murdered Martha and all. Would you like a cookie? Bitch.
She just slides that onto the table, no bother. That little doozy.
Love her. If anybody could have doubted why she was sitting on this info, she was doing the work. And she offers a proposition to Paul, which I think is quite classy of her. She wants him to leave town, change his name, and never come back. And then points out that in this scenario, Zach would be living with her. Paul seems to have genuinely been considering it for a moment and then starts to get a little bit defensive. Felicia says, you did the noble thing before by getting this baby out of this dangerous scenario. It's time to do the noble thing again. And when Paul says, can I say goodbye? Felicia says, did you allow me to say goodbye to Martha?
She knows that's right.
Paul leaves, and then the best moment for me anyway, Paul leaves and we see Felicia take a breath, having dealt with Paul, and lifts up the sharpest knife because Diva was ready to fight to the death.
She's incredible. And she really did back him into a corner because Paul didn't want to do this, but as Felicia points out, the only reason the police haven't caught him is because they haven't had any reason to suspect him, which Felicia could very easily provide for them at this point.
She got him to confess. She had the evidence. She had a backup plan to murder him, and she's saving Zach from this man. Is she supposed to be the villain? Because I think she might be the hero of the story.
So, in the next scene, I've started this with all caps. Her name is Kendra.
If it helps, Mike also doesn't know what her name is.
That's fair.
He's not worked that out yet on his investigation.
Susan pulls up to Noah Bossman's estate because I guess she knows where the address. Has she been there before?
Is it in the yellow pages? She loves the yellow pages.
Right under the hitman.
Or did the hitman give her the information?
That makes more sense, yeah. So Susan tries to sort of woo Bob, the security guard. It doesn't work. He's got her like slammed down on the bonnet of her car.
Which is hilarious. She's like, I'm going to appeal to your romantic side. He does not have a romantic side.
No, he is paid far too much to be dealing with anyone's romantic side.
Call me Bob.
So then Kendra sees what's unfolding, and we cut to them chatting about Mike's past with Noah there as well. So it's Susan, Kendra, and Noah. And Susan thinks that there's more to the story, but Noah disagrees. He says that it's exactly how it sounds. Mike sold heroin to Deirdre.
Black tie heroin.
I don't really know the distinction of the heroin types. Erin, why do you?
I assume that black tie is like formal heroin, like fancy, top of the line. So it's not just saying he's like some drug dealer in the street. This is like I interpreted it as a high-end operation. Watch somebody in the comments be like, black tie heroin, Erin, is actually a sub-brand. But that's how I interpret it, which made it feel to me like he was trying to imply that Mike was a lot more calculated in all of this. Like it wasn't a mistake. It was a...
Yeah. I mean, I think it's very similar to the detective hitman misleading Susan with what Paul wanted him to her to believe. Noah is now saying what he wants Susan to believe, and it's all of the lies that she's heard before, basically.
But what is crazy is that Detective Hitman, Mr. Detective Hitman, Boss Man Noah, and Paul Young are all telling Susan the same story. And she knows it's not true. She's believing herself, which I'm proud of her for.
Trusts her gut. We love to see it.
Because these people are all coming in theory from different sources. So this should really be enough.
Yeah.
For her to believe. But she, again...
Well, is it her trusting her gut, or objectively, given that she hasn't heard the truth, is it her just being Delulu?
I don't think so. I think she... Not to be a bit of a romantic, but I think she knows in her gut that Mike's a good person. And none of this is adding up to her.
That's fair. So yeah, Noah reaffirms the lie that he sold heroin to Deirdre and killed the cop who tried to bust him. And Kendra's physical response in the background tells us that he's lying, if we didn't already know. And Susan appreciates their time and leaves upset, but also turning around to reveal, unlike her mother, a gorgeous jacket. Break the cycle, Susan.
Susan is a cycle breaker, except she's not. That's literally the opposite of her entire character. All Susan does is reinforce the cycle.
Not with this jacket, though. Maybe it's a sign that times are changing. It's like a sort of creamy, silvery, blazery type jacket with this sort of metallic green embroidery on it. It's just so nice. And the pattern when she turns around, I love it so much.
I can't picture it.
I literally took a screenshot
Please do.
of it.
Show me. Show me.
Uh-oh.
Once again, that is an old maiden type of blazer. I cannot. Okay. That's your
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So after Susan
When your friend brings home an ugly partner and you're like, okay, well, you know what? That's your choice and that's okay. That's okay.
Wow. So, anyway, after she leaves...
My favorite thing in this world is winding you up.
I know it is. So after she leaves, Kendra's like, what the fuck? Noah basically doesn't want them back together as a distraction so that Mike can get on doing his shite detective work. So Kendra runs after Susan to talk privately.
Yes. He's like, how will Mike murder someone if him and Susan are in love? Susan gets into the car. She's upset. And bam, in comes Kendra. Susan did not lock her vehicle. And it all feels... I know I talk like this for Mr. Bossman, but it feels very mafia. She gets in, she's like, go around the corner so we can talk. It's very... I understand that the stakes are high, but the stakes are an 8 and they're playing it at a 12.
Yeah.
So Kendra spills all the tea. Mike was a bit of a recovering addict. Deirdre was an addict and a dealer, not Mike. An undercover cop caught Deirdre using and forced her to trade sex for freedom. Mike tried to put a stop to it. The cop pulled a gun on him. They fought and both went over the balcony, but Mike was the only guy to get back up. So it was self-defense. And Susan breaks hearing this.
Yeah, she's very overwhelmed.
I think it's so overwhelming for her because she has had such an awkward relationship with men throughout her life, and she's trusted the wrong men in the past. And this is her going, my gut was screaming at me that this was a good person, and he is.
And I feel like Terry acts this scene so well because I really feel like I felt her relief in that moment.
I think so too. It really felt like that kind of, you know that cliche that's in every book that's like, she let out a breath, she didn't know she was holding. It's very that.
Yeah.
But Susan also annoyed me a teeny bit because as much as I love this scene, she could have saved herself all of this.
Yep, I have it noted down too if she just read that damn letter.
Just read the letter. And this is why I'm so nosy, Jakub, because I would have read Mike and I would have been off into the sunset.
But you know what though? If she still has the letter, she can now compare it to what she's heard. And if it matches, then Yahtzee.
Yahtzee! No, I'm 90% sure. Watch me just, again, my track record this last couple episodes have not been great. I think she gave him the letter back.
You know, you're right. You're right. You're so right for that.
Because she was like, I don't need to know. But you're right. If I would have the letter, I would say I didn't read it, get the truth, and then do a comparison. And then I would be like Felicia with the scans and the highlights. I also found it interesting that she highlighted in yellow. It's just not my preference. I think I would have preferred a different color, but also it was 2004. I don't know if
classic Al. Maybe they didn't have colored highlighters beyond yellow.
I think this was pre-colorful highlighters.
What a boring time to be alive.
Unless it was like the other options were like the neon ones. I do not mess with the neon highlighters.
Aren't they all neon? Isn't that the whole thing?
No. So you get like your neon pinks and oranges and yellows. Jakub, you don't look very interested in what I'm saying. I'm watching you in the viewfinder and you don't look intrigued. So you get in, you get like, you can get some bright colors, but also my favorite ones are pastels. And there's a color of yellow that isn't so like, it's more of I would say a custard. And it's just really easy on the eyes.
Sure. I love that for you.
Do you?
I guess.
You know what? You'll be at the concert. I'll be highlighting passages of someone's diary who's dead.
You'll be highlighting parts of your letter to the council to forbid tall people at the front of concerts.
I was saying to Jakub in the break that I actually think that I doubled down on that too hard just for fun. And now I'm worried everyone's going to be like, oh, Jakub hates women and Erin hates tall people. I was just running with it because it was funny. But yeah, we were saying maybe I'll have a tall section and a short section at a concert is for a compromise.
Yeah.
And Jakub put in a good suggestion on the break as well, that everyone wears stilts so that they adjust so that everybody is exactly the same height.
I think that's fair. That's equality. So we are now reaching our final scene. Mariala's voiceover is back to talking about marriage, specifically vows, you know, like for richer or poorer, sickness and in health, etc. And it's all matched with relevant shots like Marty looking at the bill for Sophie's new ring.
Which annoyed me because he seemed like, oh, can't believe how expensive this is. But when we first see him, he says he just bought a jet ski.
I mean, you can still be shocked at the price of something and not be like disdainful about it, you know?
Nah. I'm like, you want this woman back. You tried to give her a second-hand ring, Marty. In fact, literally second-hand because it's been on, the first hand it's been on is dead.
Well, and then we move on to Until Death Do Us Part, which we see with Paul looking at a photo of him and Mary Alice. And then Mary Alice concludes talking about how vows are simple, but that finding someone worthy of them is the hard part. And ain't that the truth? Although you wouldn't know, you lucky bitch. That
came out of nowhere.
I didn't even have it in my notes. That was spontaneous.
This has the same energy as earlier when Jakub looked at my radiator and there was a pair of my pants on it and I was just like, stop looking at my pants, you pervert. And I was like, I don't know where that came from.
Well, we're even now, I guess.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Maybe we have some like built up animosity towards each other we need to work out. Should we go into like a wrestling ring?
Let's just have a bonus episode of Jakub and Erin fight it out. Hash it out.
The way that you would break me in half, like one of those snap bands. And I would just be, because I would come in, be like, I'm gonna, I would cry this before you even hit my face. Already streaming.
My goodness. Anyway.
Oh my God, Jakub, you would, if you beat me up, you would never beat the Jakub hates women allegations.
But I love how you just assumed this is going to involve physical fighting.
I mean, I'm like Felicia.
I'm like, let's hash out, let's talk. And you pull the knife out. Like,
yeah.
Yes, let's talk.
One better, the garden shears for when she wasn't trimming a hedge.
Choose your weapon. Maybe we'll do it live and the listeners can like make bets.
Okay. I would get into that in a dodgy way, though. I'm not going to lie. I can already see it. I would be like so I know I'm going to lose. So I would bet against myself so that even if I win, I win. And if I lose, I win.
And you'll go to your grave knowing you won, and that's good enough for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
anyway, vows, finding someone worthy, that's the hard part.
Blah, 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 blah.
Blah, blah, blah. So Mary Alice finishes with, because when we do, that's when we begin to live happily ever after. And then we see Susan run over to Mike and she kisses him and she's all excited and she's just decided we're back together now. We don't know how Mike feels after all this time, but
he kisses her back though.
He does. It's cute, especially after so many episodes ending with just Susan looking out at his house.
I'm so sick of the yearning.
Yes, we're done with yearning.
It's very
Let's have yearned. Who was your worst neighbor?
This is a good question. I need to start writing down who my worst neighbor is in advance because I keep thinking it's going to come to me once I've kind of dissected the entire episode. And I don't think it does.
Do you want me to start?
Sure.
So assuming that he's local, since everyone in Fairview is hiring him, my worst neighbor is Detective Hitman. Because he's a wee grass. That's bad neighbor.
It's not his fault he's in love with Paul Young.
But he shouldn't be letting his feelings get in the way of his professional work. Bad neighbor.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Screw it. I'm going to agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with you for
Hell
once.
Yeah, for once.
My monster of the week feels different though. I want to say my monster of the week is Tom Speedo. I'm kidding.
Oh my God. How dare you besmirch the good name of that Speedo? We don't have Tom, but like, come on.
And
The
last
Speedo
week,
did nothing
Chagrin,
wrong.
you're getting word of the day toilet paper and you're not telling me, are you? You're sitting there with a thesaurus.
What am I going to throw at Erin this week?
I would say the monster of the week is Paul. He's
Yeah.
literally drugging people.
That's what I said. I mean, you're drugging your son. You're a monster, babes.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the Young family. No. Did I tell you that in the original pilot script, the unaired pilot, the Mary Alice Young and Paul Young were Mary Alice Scott and Paul Scott?
Oh, interesting.
But do I love the idea that in that scenario they're Scottish?
Instead of, yes, it's I.
Should we do that, guys? Do you think we could do it was another day on the lane and Zach was being a wee grass.
If you had the chance to change your Detective Hitman, would you?
What I love about this is that you and I both put on a Scottish accent there. We have them. What's going on?
Here's a question about the episode.
Please.
Do you think because we saw that scene where Paul was sort of packing his bags, is it implied since he left when Felicia gave him her proposal that he has left now and he has run away, so to speak?
I don't know. Because I don't know if... I got a weird vibe when Paul said, do I at least get a chance to say goodbye? I think in that moment he was planning to pick up Zach and take him with him. So I really don't know what's going on with Paul. I don't know what his plan is. I don't know what his end game is because it's been completely shaken. Before, he was trying to cover up for Deirdre's murder, which we still don't know if it was him or Mary Alice or both or someone else or if it was an accident or if it was baby Zaina with a knife. But we know for sure he killed Martha. And this is I think what this show does well with Paul Young, and I love the character, I really do. I love Mark Moses. I think he does a phenomenal job. He is a prime example of making one bad choice and that making you have to make a worse choice. And that making you have to make another worse choice.
Chain of events, baby.
He is stuck in this loop. And I do think until he admits what he's doing, he's not going to be able to change. And it's sad.
No, we'll get there. But in the meantime, let's talk about the husband.
Okay, Carlos.
I put 2.
I think 2.
2 because, for all the reasons. Rex.
4.
Okay, I wrote 3, but I can get on board with 4.
I was gonna say 3, but I feel like I've rated him 3 for doing worse stuff.
Sure. Okay.
So
4. Tom. See, I said 4, but I think higher than Rex, so 5 or 6.
I'm saying 5 because he's got the negatives and the positive in this episode. He made a real effort, but he was horrible in the beginning. 5.
Fair. And then Mike. Mike's the hardest to rank because he would have been so much easier to rank when he was actively dating Susan, but ever since we started ranking the husbands, they've not been together, so it's really hard to rank him.
Are we ranking Mike Delfino? Are we ranking Michael Delf?
Oh, very, very different scores.
Very different scores. I'm gonna give Mike, I don't know. He's barely there. He's just brooding in the corner.
It's I want to say 5 because he's not really doing much. That's bang on average. But I feel like obviously Tom had the good and the bad. And I just think personally, I'd rather have someone with good and bad qualities than just a nothing. Do you know what I mean? So I almost feel like Tom should be higher than Mike.
I think for me, Mike's a 5.
Okay. Already, wow.
That was episode 21. So next week we are going to do episode 22 and we are going to sit down and watch the finale together, which we haven't watched an episode together since the series finale when we were in high school.
Very exciting. I might get a bit emotional.
I might too. But do you think we should get like a little bit of wine or something?
Obviously.
Yeah. But no, thank you so much for staying with us. We love you very much.
And until next time, stay desperate.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Be sure to check out our Instagram for visuals, behind the scenes content, and more.
You can find us by searching for Modded, that's MEWDYD.
Or just search for Mary Alice, What Did You Do?
This podcast is brought to you entirely by us, Erin McGee
and Jakub Tanzi. If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to leave us a review. It really helps us out.
Join us next time for another episode of Mary Alice,
What Did You Do?